Welcome! In this series of short videos, we will look at topics common to both the PowerBasic console and Windows compilers. Today we will look at the use of the choose command. The choose command is one of those commands that once you find a use for it, you'll want to use it in lots of places in your applications. So today we're going to look at how the choose command can be used. As the choose command can be used in a number of different ways, we're going to create a number of functions, one to demonstrate each of the different ways it can be used. So first we will create a function called choose_strings. So to demonstrate the use of this command, we have dimensioned a small string array of 3 elements. And we've populated the array using the arrayAssign command, giving it 3 values, the strings red, green and blue. In your applications, this could well be a list which the user has to choose from. So we will declare a local variable called selection as a string, and we will populate that variable with the value blue. This will be the selection the user has made. In order to determine where in our array of colours this selection exists, we can use the arrayscan command. The arrayscan command can scan our string array looking for the selection the user has made. And if it does actually find this selection, it will return the index, the element of the array in which our string exists. So in this case, the word blue is the 3rd element in our array. So the index variable will contain the value 3. If we then want to do something in our code to decide on what value the user has picked, we can use an if command. If commands are quite commonly used when you wish to perform some action based on the value held within a variable or variables. In this case, we're testing the value of the selection variable and we're putting a message out to our log for each of the different colours the user can select. And we have a catch-all else command at the end to handle all other conditions. If we run the application now, we will see that the if condition is returning blue, as this is what was selected. As an alternative to using an if statement, we can use a select case statement, testing each of the possible cases and putting a message out to our log for blue, red or green. And again, there is a catch-all else statement at the end of the select statement to handle any other value. And if we run our application now, we will see it puts a message out to say select blue. If these are the commands you're likely to use in your application, we can now look at the choose command as an alternative. So at this point in the code, we have 2 variables populated. The selection variable is populated with the text, in this case the word blue. Also, our index variable is populated with the value of 3, which is the element position inside the array which contains the word blue. We can now use the choose $command to operate on strings, passing it a number of parameters. The first parameter is the index. This, as we know, contains the value 3. We then follow this with an indeterminate number of values. These are the strings that are going to be returned. Since the index has the value 3, then the 3rd parameter after this is the one the choose command is going to return. And as before, we have a catch-all else command that will return another string if the index does not exist in this command. So as you can see from this command, it is extensible. If we had a selection of 10 values, then we could put 10 strings after the index. If we run the application now, you will see the choose command returns the string blue. Of course, the value returned by our choose $command doesn't have to be a direct representation of what existed in the array. It could be any string whatsoever. So if the user did indeed pick blue, which is the 3rd element, we could return a value which is perhaps a code which can be used elsewhere in the application. So now that you can see how strings are handled within the choose command, how can we handle numbers? So we'll create a new function to handle integer numbers. And we'll call that function chooseIntegerNumbers. So in this function, we're going to do something fairly similar. We have dimensioned an array, but this time as a list of 5 numbers. And we have assigned those numbers using the arrayAssign command. These are all whole numbers. We've made a selection by the user to select the number 42, which is the third element in the array. We have then used the arrayScan command, but this time on a numeric array, to return the index, which, as I said, is number 3. And as before, we could use an if command to test the value of that selection. And within each of the if statements, we could put additional code that performed other actions. We can do the same construct using a selectCase command, testing the value of the selection variable and acting accordingly. So how would we do this in a choose statement? The choose statement has a format where you're using the choose followed by the ampersand sign. This indicates to PowerBasic that the choosing is going to be done on numbers and not strings, and is optimized for this. So as the choose ampersand is going to return a number, I'm using the format $$ command to turn it into a string so we can send it out to our log so we can see the value returned. And as we did before, we're passing the first parameter as being the index in the array. And then the value returned we're returning is either 34, 576, 42, 17 or 9. As the selection and the index is set for 42, this is the third element, so we'll return the value 42. And again, we have an else statement at the end of the choose command to return the value 0. So if we run the application now, we'll see for our if statement we get 42, select returns 42, and choose also returns 42. But as I said in the previous use of the choose statement, although we're returning the value which exists within the array, we could return any number we wish. For example, we could return an account number. So as well as handling whole numbers, we can handle numbers which have a decimal point and numbers beyond the decimal point. We can handle fractions. So we're going to create a new function called chooseNumbers. So here is our new function. We have dimensioned an array of single values containing 4 elements, and we've populated those elements with numbers ranging from 34.1 to 17.6. We then set the selection to be 17.9, which is the second element in our array. As before, we've used the arrayScan command to search out the array to find out the index number which points to the value we have. In this case, it would return the value 2, as 17.9 is the second element in our array. We can use the choose command as before, but this time we're using choose with nothing on the end. There is no $ or ampersand command. Using it this way means that the choose command will handle any kind of number it finds. The first parameter, as before, is the index. This tells us the index that we're going to be picking from the values that follow. We follow that index variable with 4 values, 10, 20, 30 and 40. As the index has the value 2, the value that choose is going to return is 20, as this is the second in the list of values. This is a perfect demonstration of what choose can return, which bears no relation to the number that came in. And again, we have the else catch-all statement, which is going to return 0 if we cannot find the index in the list on our choose command. So having created the chooseNumbers function, if we run the application once more, we'll see that chooseNumbers returns the value 20, as this is the second element in the list that choose has been given to return. So to demonstrate how else the choose command can be used to return information, we're going to create another new function called chooseDepartment. And in order to make use of this, I'm going to create an enumeration at the beginning of the application. And we're going to call this enumeration departments. We've created this departments enumeration with the bits option. and we have set 4 values inside this enumeration: IT, Finance, HR, and Marketing. As we're using the bits option and giving the value of IT to the value 1, this will automatically give the value 2 to Finance, 4 to HR, 8 to Marketing, and then 16 to the next option had we put 1 in. So how can we make use of this for departments? Let's go and create our departments routine. So first of all, we will create a local variable called selected as a long variable. We're now going to populate this variable with 2 values. We're going to use the OR command to add into this variable departments.finance and departments.it. This allows us to store 2 pieces of information in the one variable. We can then use the choose command with the bit option to handle this. With the bit option, it instructs the choose command that the value coming in is considered to be a bit operator. So if the first bit is actually set, it will return the value IT. If the second bit is set, it will return the word finance, and so on. In this case, we have set departments finance, which is the second bit, and departments IT, which is the first bit. Using it with the bit command will return the first value it finds. So if we run the application now, we'll see it returns the value IT, because IT is the first bit. If we wish to return both selected bits, we need to use the bits option. The choose command can now be used with the first option bits. This instructs PowerBasic that there may be more than one value to return. So I've changed the wording to be IT account, finance account, and so on, and added a space at the end of each of these, as if 2 or more have been selected, the choose command will return the values in these strings one after the other. So as we've selected both finance and IT, we should get that information coming back from the choose command. If we run the application now, we'll see we're getting IT account and finance account. So this gives you a very efficient way of handling information. Alternatively, rather than returning the words IT account, we could have returned a string which indicates an account number perhaps for IT and an account number for finance, or an email address, or anything else you wish to return. So in summary, you can see the choose command does give you a fair bit of flexibility in returning information based on a selection a user has made or a selection done elsewhere in your application. Hopefully you'll find this command useful in your applications, but that's it for today. Thank you for watching.